I would highly like the rules that Texas has. I think are pretty fair. For instance, just to give an example.
Right.
You forgetting the whole ideology of the hunters and the prey. See, I just told you a story about my great grandma, how she came to Philadelphia, died off a backyard abortion, and it just shows you that that's just not good for our people. It's not good.
Yeah, man. I mean, if she had like access to abortion,
hold up.
if
Just
she had
hold up.
access to abortion, she wouldn't have that issue though, right?
But it sound like you just not pro life when it comes to black people because you know you had that baby and it take a village to raise that baby. So like Tommy said too, it's in the mind. You know, our bodies show that our bodies have overcome everything that they have through us. No weapon shall prosper. So it shows who the chosen ones are. But it takes the mind to understand that. So
I mean, but as far as like a legal, from a
I told
legal
you a story
standpoint,
about my great grandma and how she died off of abortion. We should signify stuff like that. You know
but
that abortion is just not for us
we
to
can't
try
go. We can't get into
that.
emotion.
We should raise all of our
We can't get into
we should
emotion
raise
when we're
all
talking
of
about.
our people and look at each other as
We
family,
can't. We can't
friends,
get
and
into. We can't. We can't get into emotion when we're talking about what's legal
every
and
way,
what's not
every
legal.
form, and every
Okay,
fashion.
but it varies from state to state, and sometimes county to county what is legal. So I'm in California. You can have an abortion up to 8, 9 months. I think that's sick.
22 weeks.
No, you
But
can have one later. You
no,
can
no,
if
you
it
can't.
has
You can't. You can't.
if it has. I'm letting you
You
know
can't.
because
You
I'm
can't.
letting you
You
know
can't.
if it has
If the fetus,
developmental
if the fetus,
disabilities,
if
they
the
will
fetal.
allow you to abort later. That is a
Okay,
fact.
so okay, so like the thing is, but okay, so she's protecting her interest, right?
I'm not saying that you should abort.
I know, but you're saying as
I'm
long as you think
saying
you saying it
legally
should be
that
legal,
is allowed.
but you're saying it should be legal though.
I'm saying I think like I said, I think I'm in California, so that's the laws here. I'm just stating the laws. I did say that the laws like what are in Texas, the new law, I think that's more fair to to not just have abortion so flippantly.
No, I mean, but you said that people can
I'm not
do
talking about
don't wait.
what
No,
should. I'm talking about the law.
okay,
The
no, but
law,
okay,
like
so
you
but
said, it's
but
legal
it's
for
fair,
abortion. I said it
but
varies from state to state,
it's fair to
county to
do for the
county.
American government. It's fair for the American government to do drone strikes on children's hospitals in countries that
I'm
are
not saying
sovereign.
it's okay, but does it happen just like women have abortions? Does it happen? Yes, that's a fact.
I mean,
But I'm
so
not
as long as
saying
you
it should happen.
as long as you're saying abortion should be legal, that's fine.
Yeah, up to like 5 weeks heartbeat.
So
Up
you
to a
so
Okay,
heartbeat.
wait,
so
you said
we
hold on,
shouldn't do drone
I want
strikes
to make
then.
sure I understand. You said as long as you're saying abortion should be legal, that's fine. So you're basically saying you're for abortion and everybody should be.
Legally, because you gotta mute up. You gotta mute up. I can't hear myself. Um, legally, because like your opinion about it, like you shouldn't dictate like how I feel about it. So legally, yeah, it should be legal.
But legally, it's different from place to place. I don't know where you're at,
I
but I
don't
know
agree with that. I
Texas is
don't agree
different,
with that.
Arkansas is different,
Well, hold on a
California is
second. Hold
different.
on a second. I want y'all to understand when this person says legally, a person should be able to do that. So legally, a person should be able to put alcohol into their body at any age. Okay?
Yeah, I
Legally,
was just gonna say, yeah, there should be restrictions.
legally, you should be able to sleep with someone of any age. I mean, they're smart enough. If Dwayne Wade's son was smart enough, wait a minute, wait.
They're not ready for that.
Wait, please. If Dwayne Wade's son was smart enough at 12 to know he's a girl, then how would he not be smart enough to know who he want to sleep with at the same age?
Minors can't give my son.
That's a law. Jesus.
So with every right, there is always reasonable restrictions, and I think that's what we're getting at, right? With every right, there's always an obligation. I mean, this is in social contract theory. I mean, we can go down the list down the list of philosophers, right? Locke, Rawls, down the list, right? All the way down to Nietzsche. But the point is that with every right, there's always a reasonable restriction. That's what we're saying. And what is reasonable in this case? Homegirl said, that yeah, all right. So women should have autonomy over their own bodies, right? And that's reasonable, and that's inherently a right. The problem is that to what extent? And to what extent does that affect another living person. I think that's what we're getting at.
Yes, that's exactly what I was trying to say. I'm like, legally in each state it's different. My personal belief is not what is the legal, you know, right here in California. And I'm only saying California so you guys know the laws here are really liberal. So I definitely don't agree with these abortion laws here.
I just hate that he said, "Oh, that's a law." Well, then that means if they write a law that said women can't get an abortion, then he should shut up and say that's a law. I hate people who do
Facts.
that. Say
As,
that's a
as, if,
law.
as if it's a law, so that means it's absolute. That means if you
Right.
make
It's
it
a law. It's
legal,
absolute. Well,
everything is
slavery was a
absolute.
law.
Yeah, yeah,
Women not
that's
being able to
nuts.
vote was a law. Blacks in Jim Crow was a law.
No, I didn't say that. I said as long as a woman has autonomy over her body and you agree with that, like
No,
her
you
being
said
in
it was a law
perspective.
when I said the age of consent. You
Yeah,
broke
no, I
that
said
down
no. What
simply
I
as
said is
it's a
that minors
law.
can't. No, I said minors can't give consent.
Yes, because that's a law. Who else said
No,
minors can't give consent? Minors can
minors.
consent. And let me ask you something. Let me let you know something, bro. A 14-year-old girl can go with her doctor and get an abortion and not have to tell her parents. Minors can give consent, sir.
That's true. What he's saying is true. Yeah.
In California, it's as young as 12. I had to sign over
That's what
my
I'm
son and
saying.
make
This
sure
shit
he
is
has his own
stupid when you
account.
listen to people. And sometimes I know I get upset and I get mad because I keep thinking people just are fucking, they're not fair. They will say whatever the fuck. They play hopscotch with common sense. They play hopscotch with facts, and it's wrong. And I always said I was born in the wrong damn time because I hate to watch people, and pro-blacks love to say, well, if a white person did this, it wouldn't have got the same attention as a black person. So, of course, they want to be treated fairly, but they sure won't have a fair conversation.
Well, you opened up this space talking about echo chambers. Tommy, you opened up this space talking about echo chambers and how we all go into our own little, it's as though we're just preaching to the choir and stuff like that. And you open up the space that way, and it seems as though that's what happens. That when we actually have intellectual discourse, open and honest discourse between two opposing sides or what have you, some of us are stupefied, right? To come upon the realization, to just trip over this part of the reality that we've ignored because we've always speak to people with like-minded ideology. So it's probably new to some of the people here in this space to realize that, yeah, a 14-year-old has I guess the state has recognized that a 14-year-old has agency, you know, for this specific purpose that they can give consent.
And think about how stupid what he's saying is. No offense, sir, but it is stupid because that same 14-year-old that you said can't give consent can fuck another 14-year-old. So
Yeah.
apparently they can give consent.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
They don't take two 14-year-olds to jail for fucking.
It's the same conundrum what you're talking about. If you push over this pregnant woman and she loses her baby, you're going to be charged with murder.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And I think that's why they have a hard time talking to me. That's why they'd rather talk in their show. Because typically people aren't intelligent. And an intelligent person is going to question. It doesn't mean that I hate you because I'm questioning. I'm questioning it usually because of something you set up first. I always let y'all set up the parameters. Once you set up the parameters, I then follow the parameters and say, well, if this, then why this? Because if this 14-year-old does not have agency to be able to have sex with an older person, why can they have sex with themselves, with someone their age? Two, why is it that if the two 14-year-olds get pregnant, the 14-year-old can then decide to have an abortion or have that baby, and the parent can't tell them to do anything? That makes no sense.